Hey, welcome to the Social Experiment with Sunny and Shay.
This is an opportunity for Sunny and I to get 4 people together from different walks of life, from different parts of the country, in a room and find out what they really think.
And what we do is we blindfold them, don't let them talk to each other before the shooting of this program.
So today we are joined by 4 participants, Mr. Green, Miss Red, Mr. Blue and Miss Orange. And we have one topic of discussion. If you'd like to get involved, rather than shouting at the TV, why not go to Twitter, #SOCEXP. Today we're going to be discussing a topic which has been in the news quite a lot over the past 18 months, and that is interracial relationships and marriages.
Now, Mr. Blue, I would like to start with you. What is your take on this discussion that's taken over the mainstream?
Hi, I'm Abbas, I'm 24 and I'm from Birmingham.
I think it's absolutely fine. I think in today's society it's definitely more accepted, whereas in the generation above me it's probably the complete opposite. But I was born into this generation, so I'm absolutely fine with it. I don't see no problem.
What do you talk about? What do you say to people who are traditionalists and say that, you know, we are losing our culture? Maybe it's against their religion. How would you put this to them? That your point of view to someone like that?
It's just life, really. I mean, you've got to have that level of respect for how they grew up. Do you know what I mean? We all grow up in our own ways, so the way they grew up is completely different to how we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
So with them, I think it's just a matter of respect, and in terms of making them understand how our society is today. I think it's a little bit more difficult than just telling them. I think it's more visible for them in TV, movies, out and about around town centres. It's just more visible, so I think it'll take time, but eventually,
It'll take time. That's your perspective to start off the discussion. But Miss Red, let's ask you. If we were to look at the country in Great Britain, of course it's very diverse, but British Asians still are very much seen from the South Asian community as the ones who refer to actually and prefer to stay within their religion, their caste, or in fact their creed. What's your perspective on that?
Hi, I'm Deja. I'm 18 from Birmingham. I feel like sometimes it's easiest to stay with your own culture, especially because of like language barriers and difference in cultures. So like interracial marriages, like if you do marry someone from a different culture, you are going into a different culture and they're coming into yours. So as well as like respecting each other, you need to have respect for each other's cultures as well.
Do you believe the same when it comes to interfaith marriages? So when we talk about interfaith, of course, we're discussing the fact that there are 2 people, they could well be from the same culture, but they have different religions.
I feel like with faith, it's a bit more difficult than culture, obviously, because culture is just like sort of the stigma that you're associated to, but your religion is like your way of life. So if you have kids, it's like, which religion do you really want them to follow, like the mothers or the fathers? So it is quite difficult in that sense.
Let's bring in Miss Orange. What do you have to say about this? What's your perspective on marrying into a different race or even religion?
Hi, I'm Sadika and I am 19.
I think that really we should let the children, especially of this generation, marry really interracially, marry who they want, because honestly we're the generation of the future. We're not necessarily living by the cultures and by the viewpoints of the generations before. Obviously we take them into account, but we're living for ourselves. We're not supposed, I don't agree with the idea that parents are more aware of what society thinks of them rather than their own children. We do see it a lot on the media where children are rebelling against their parents because of this issue, and I just really think that the parents should take into consideration the child's point of view, not society's point of view to that extent.
Mr. Green, what is your take on this?
Hi, my name's Ajaz. I'm from Birmingham and I'm 25 years old. I agree with some of the points that Miss Red said.
Yeah.
Obviously, but language barriers is probably like one of the least problems that you can think of. I mean, I think international marriages are good. You're introducing one another's cultures. You're getting to know about someone else's religion, someone else's cultures and traditions.
But can't you just do that at school instead of bringing them into your family, which is traditionally a certain way, and therefore you're forcing them into a situation as opposed to, educating them on something?
we don't really force anybody to bring someone into your culture. I mean, that's something that you just choose to happen if you're socializing with some people from different backgrounds and cultures. I mean, not everything, you don't learn about a lot of different religions or different types of religions in just school. It's probably certain things about one religion, but then you're missing out on a few others. You can't really make an opinion on someone else's religion if you don't really know anything about it. So
now, I want to bring in Mrs. Orange here. Miss Orange, when we talk about marriages with different backgrounds, how does, I think Miss Red just brought up a point, then which way do you guide your children when you are bringing them into a relationship which the parents are from two different thought processes?
Are they, like, for example, are they Muslim?
Whichever way you want to do it.
You
They
could,
might be Muslim.
to give an example,
Yeah,
you could have two individuals, one's Muslim and one's Christian.
Yeah.
Just as an example.
Okay, then I would. There's
a bit of conflict there, isn't it? Sort of.
Yeah.
So how do you, and that Miss Red made this point that, you know, how do we then, the next generation coming forward, how do we then guide them if their parents are on different settings? Which way do you bring them up, as Muslim or as Christian or non-religious? How would you work that if that was your situation?
Honestly, it differs with the two people who are the two parties basically. You know, is it the mother who's Christian? Is it the father?
Right.
Are you saying it matters which gender it is? So if it was, okay, to give you a bit more depth into that, if it was the father that is Muslim and the mother that is Christian, what would you say to that?
The father that's Muslim.
Father's Muslim and the mother is Christian.
Then wouldn't the family, the parties involved, be raised by the father?
Right.
So you think it should be going by the father's belief. What do you think about that, Mr. Blue, as to what Miss Orange has just said? If you've got interfaith marriage, you've got one parent who is a man and he happens to be Muslim, the mother happens to be Christian. Miss Orange has said that actually wouldn't you just go with the father's religion and therefore the children will be brought up Muslim? What's your perspective?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really, I'm not too sure if I really agree with the whole interfaith thing, full stop. So when it comes to what you're asking, it's a bit of, I think it's quite a difficult question for myself. I mean, like Miss whoever's opposite me said. With the whole kid thing, I mean, you're saying what religion should they follow, their fathers or their mums, yeah? To me, that doesn't, it just doesn't make sense to me at all.
Why is that?
It's confusing for the child. Like, if someone said, okay, you should follow your father's religion,
right?
Why?
Okay.
Someone said you follow your mum's religion, why?
Right.
You came out of your mother, you know, so why wouldn't you follow your mum's? But then, why wouldn't you follow your dad's? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't.
So in that,
do you want to come in?
You want to come in,
Miss
Miss Orange?
Yes,
You want to do?
Sorry. But doesn't that allow the child to grow as a person? You know, discovering which path they want to take. You know, do they want to take the religion of the mother or the father? You know, I have a personal friend who, she was raised in the way of her mother, but who's Christian, but now, you know, she has delved into Islam and she does want to proceed with becoming a full Muslim. You know, her parents allow her to make the decision, you know, whether she wants to become Christian or Muslim. You know, it should be the child's, you know, the parents should encourage the child to really reach out and really discover who they are, which religion they feel more comfortable with.
What do you say to that, Mr. Blue?
I don't, no disrespect to you or your friend whatsoever, but with the most respect, I think that I just don't agree with him.
Okay.
So you're saying, just to make that final point, and we're going to come back and pick up with Miss Red and also Mr. Green, you don't mind interracial relationships or marriages, but interfaith, where people are of different faiths, that's the issue that you have.
Well, in my family, I've got interracial marriages. Interfaith marriages gets all political, and it just turns into, from what I've grown up on personally, it's just drama. So,
Miss Orange, you want to come back straight into that? You can carry on.
I don't know. That's all about your experiences. My experiences, we've welcomed, you know, a Christian man into our family, and he's a brother-in-law to us. He's I didn't say anything about that being bad. That's absolutely fine. Like I said, with the most respect towards you and your family, that's absolutely cool. All I'm saying is, personally, from myself,
it would be a little bit more than that, because we have in the generation on top of us, we have people in our family who are a little bit more cultural and traditional, so it's a little bit more difficult, and I wouldn't want to bring someone outside of my religion into the family to make them
See,
feel
it's funny.
a certain way.
We're going to come back and we're going to pick up on everyone. We're going to get you, Miss Red and Mr. Green, to respond to what has just been said. But if you want to get involved with the conversation, sitting at home and you're shouting and thinking, "What are you lot saying? This is ridiculous. This is how we think."
Yeah.
Well, stop doing that. Get onto the Twitter and follow the hashtag.
Absolutely. Hashtag is SOCEXP. If you're a little bit confused between interfaith and interrace, we will explain all of that straight after the break.